Sorry about the small delay on the start there, guys. We've got a whole heap of no-shows, unfortunately, for round number 1. So it made organization a little bit of a nightmare trying to actually get the game up and running. So we are ready, twitch.tv, for everybody that's sitting and joining us. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for tuning in. Let everybody know Dreamhack qualifiers, guys. The top 2 from today's server on EU West and the top 2 on Nordic and East will be qualifying for Sunday. And only on Sunday's games can you make it to Dreamhack. So we are here. We are having some fun. And now I'm just making sure we're ready for this match. So it looks as though the stream is already. It looks as though CPlay on the left-hand side are ready to challenge Derpers on the right-hand side. A couple of fairly recognized names. And we are into the champion select as well. Luckily, these guys have done a remake for me. So thank you, CPlay. Thank you, Derpers. You guys are legendary. And I'm just going to make sure I've got the names right here. CPlay and Derpers. For everybody that is on the stream and is in chat, I'm going to throw up a Reddit link in just a few seconds. It would be great if you guys could give it some love, throw it some upvotes, and just let everybody know that what's happening. So I'm keeping a close eye on the bans right now. Karthus, Nocturne, Urgot, Caitlyn, Brand, and Blitzcrank all removed. Immediately we have, they pick some bans going super, super fast here. Remember, guys, these teams have already done this. So they're just running through what has already, happened. They restreamed it just for us right now, or restarted it. I'm going to be quickly finding my little link for Reddit. And it looks as though, wow, we're going super, super fast for this picks and bans. For everybody that maybe is asking or maybe wondering, Fnatic had a bye in the first game. So Fnatic are actually not playing right now, guys. I can actually bring up my friends list and show you that myself. Fnatic. There's Lamia, there's XPK. You can see the guys are not in games right now. They will be playing from round number 2 onwards. So we'll be probably jumping into some Fnatic games a little bit later. With regards to the game right now, though, CPlay on the left-hand side, facing Derpers on the right-hand side. This is patch day, ladies and gentlemen, patch day. So we know that Darius is available. We know that a couple of nerfs and buffs have come into the different champions. Ashe has had a complete rework, so we're going to see the new model on Ashe. And what I'm really excited to see, Hawkton RV may actually be building this Athene's Unholy Grail. So that's what we're going to be looking at, or what we're going to be looking for. Let me pull up the brackets so I can show you guys what this looks like. What it looks like at the moment, just as soon as I find the link. That's number 1, and that's number 2. I just want to confirm the format for everybody, just let everybody know, how this is going to work and how it's playing out. So, this is Dreamhack qualifiers. This is qualifier 3 and qualifier 4, all right, because we've had 1 and 2 already happening on Tuesday. The way that it works is you play 128 teams on EU West. There are 64 teams on Nordic and East. They play through to the grand final. The 2 teams that are involved in the grand final then qualify for Sunday's tournament, all right? So the grand final was not actually played on Tuesday on either of the servers. The teams did not compete because they didn't need to. It was just a qualifying game. They have now qualified for Sunday, and we're going to find 4 more teams today, 2 from West, 2 from East. And on Sunday, these 8 teams will be taking on one another, and the top 4 will actually then earn spots at Dreamhack Summer, which is taking place in June, I believe 16th to 19th. So our qualifiers that we already have at the moment, I believe was CLG, Absolute Legends, Moscow 5, and I've got to confirm the 4th team. That'll be up in a second. Let me actually show you guys exactly what the ladder looks like for today. So today on the EU West server, we can have a look here. Rounds of 1, SK Gaming, CPlay versus Team Derpers. That's the game that we're watching at the moment. You've got SK featuring today. We have TCM a little bit later. Teamless is in the bunch as well. Fnatic against All Authority are here as well. So a lot of very, very big names already sitting here. I believe Cypher around. There's MTW. Cypher's down here near the bottom. Team Acer. So some really, really big names. Team Alternate as well. We'll be jumping into those games a little bit later on. EU Nordic and East, you can see as well, we have Na'Vi. You've got, I believe MYM are competing here in this bracket. There's MYM. They've also picked up a bye in the first round. So we're going to be jumping into the games very, very quickly. And once again, remember, This is the patch day. So let's actually pull that up and we can have a quick look. LeagueOfLegends.com with the patch. Ooh, that's broken a little bit. I can't remember the specifics. Oh, come on. LeagueOfLegends.com. Nope, it doesn't want to work for me. So we'll come back to that in a second. For everybody that is wondering what's happening, Panky is currently sitting at a theme park in the United Kingdom. So he's not going to be joining me today. But I am in touch with a couple of guys, Monte Carlo, from GG Chronicle. He's busy chatting a little bit. He's going to be helping me out finding it is Monte Cristo, sorry. He's going to be helping me find a co-caster in the next hour or so. And we're going to get a very, very high-ranked, high-elo player to jump into the games with us. So while we get into game number 1 of today's qualifier, CPlay versus Derpers, I want to know where your money is, guys. We've got a few hundred people on stream. I want to know, who do you think is going to take this up? CPlay with Udia, Ezreal, Janna, Ari, and Warwick, or Ashe, Orianna, Jaximus, Lee Sin, and Soraka? 1 vote for Derpers, 2 votes for Derpers already. Let's see what's happening. These matches are live, guys. They are not pre-recorded. We are straight into today's qualifier. And we're going to wait for this game to get up and running very, very shortly. Derpers on the left-hand side. They'll be on the right-hand side, actually. So we're going to swap that around. And yeah, so welcome. Sorry about the excitement and the action and the energy. And I'm just keeping a close eye. There we go. Also, just for everybody to be aware of, for today, there is a slight modifications to the rule set in that Darius is automatically banned from all games. So nobody's going to need to waste a ban on Darius. We're going to auto-assume that he is removed from play and that he is not actually taking part. So that's it. That's us set up. That's us waiting and ready for the game. What do you guys think of the new graphics update? It is live. It has been live for quite a few hours. And I love the textures. I love the way it looks. The river in particular is way, way, way more epic. And Jaximus chilling in the grass, having a bit of a laugh, having a bit of a giggle. We've got a couple of votes I see on chat. Everybody's voting for Derpers at the moment. Derpers. So very little love for CPlay, and I'm looking forward to that. For Freakenstein, why is Darius banned? It's fairly common for brand new champions to be slightly overpowered or slightly non-balanced. That would be a better way of phrasing it. So because Darius has just been released, people don't really want to, they don't know how to either play him or they don't know how to counter him. Not everybody's been able to play a couple of games today or anything like that. So it's just for the healthiness of the competition, making sure that everybody's on the same equal footing and just auto-banning Darius. So Derpers are the favorites for this game, and we're going to have to see whether or not they can pick this up. Lanes are matching up, and we do have Ashe and Soraka being very caught out early. Jerry might be the first blood already. Fail flashes into the wall. Now they've turned their attention to Prathana. Prathana's going to be the next one taking so much damage. Ezreal does have a flash and cleanse available if he needs to. Is he going to pop the flash? There goes the flash. The beautiful Mystic shot. That's going to pick up another first blood for Ari, followed up by a kill on Ezreal. And all of that from an extremely, extremely aggressive Prathana and Jerry trying to steal raids. Derpers pulling a bit of a herpaderp move right at the beginning of this game. And wow, does that change any of your predictions, guys? Let's just turn the volume down just a little bit. Let me know if the game sounds are a bit too low. They sounded a bit loud in my ears. So, first blood to Ari. She already starts off with 1,200 gold as opposed to the 600 gold on Orianna. And of course we have Koi coming up against Lollipop in this top lane. Lee Sin against Warwick. I like to say Warwick's a bit part orangutan. Look at the damage. There's some damage. There goes the safeguard blocking off some of that damage. Misses the Hadouken, so Koi's going to have to fall back. But so much aggression already from the teams. Derpers trying to pick that up in the top lane. And unfortunately not being able to convert it. I'm going to try and keep an eye on this B2B May. We're going to call him May this time round, because he has managed to pick up a kill. So Ezreal already sitting on 900 gold. And I'd like to see what sort of build he goes for. If he's going to go for a DPS build heading towards a BF sword item or going for a Trinity Force, maybe even going Wriggle's Lantern, Phantom Dancer. There's quite a few different ideas. And that very early kill, it's going to give him an advantage to decide exactly which route he would like to play, Decide which abilities he wants to, or what items he'd like to pick up and work towards. 1,000 gold lead at the 4-minute mark. And Orianna is the champion I'm most interested to see, because we do have Athene's Unholy Grail. It is live. It is in the game. Players can purchase it. So we're going to have to see whether or not Hawkdon is actually going to buy that item later on and see how effective it actually pans out, to, how effective it is, because it does upgrade from your Chalice of Harmony. So that's 1% additional mana regen for every 1% of mana you are missing. Talon's coming forward. He's revealed himself. So Johnny's just going to fall back, take a few steps back. Because in the top lane, we do have a gank going down onto Koi. Flash is burned, though. So Demand, he does manage to get up there, force the flash out of Koi. And at this stage in the game, if he's able to come back up within the next 3 to 5 minutes, he might be able to pick up a kill. And that's really what's very, very key and what's very, very important. That Athene's Unholy Grail gives you the mana regen from Chalice of Harmony. It also gives you 15% cooldown reduction. And it also gives you 12% of your mana back on champion kills or assists. So this is the first game we're watching. In the middle lane, we've got a double gank going up. They do manage to pick up the first kill onto Ari. So that's one back from the Derpers. If Talon can get forward, there goes the attack. One more auto attack. It's going to apply the red dot slow. But the Turtle Shield was able to block a fair chunk of that damage. Let's rewind just quickly and we can watch that whole battle. Ooh, gotta go a little bit further back than that. So let's watch. There goes the battle. The charm does land on Hawkdon, but look at the damage coming out from Talon. The Leap Strike, Empower, and the counter attack really putting a lot of pain down. So Derpers do pull one kill back. The kill does go to Orianna as well, which is very, very important, because it does mean that Ari's not going to get too far away. Ari's not going to be able to just pull further and further and further away, and that's really what's very, very important. There is a tower dive going down. The best on stun under the tower. Talon gets away from one more tower hit before finally being taken out. And very, very close. Hawkdon almost saving him with that command protect, but unfortunately, no movement speed on Jax, or not enough movement speed, means he does take an extra tower hit and does go down. So 3-1 at the moment. Koi is now pushing onto Lollipop. He's got the Tempest landed. Lollipop has been slowed from that cripple. Koi does land the Q. Is he going to move in? He decides not to. And we're now back up to real time. So 3-1 is the kill score. And now once again, another huge commitment. There goes the Tempest. The cripple is down. A flash from Lollipop, but he flashes after the Q lands. One more attack is going to need it. Koi's landing 1 or 2 more hits. But the strike, the hungering strike from Warwick, giving him back dealing 175 damage, and giving him back 12% of that as hit points, manages to survive underneath the tower. So strong. Maybe a little bit lucky. But I like this. 6 minutes in, it's been non-stop action. Every single lane, there's been pressure. Every single lane. Prathana's taken a lot of damage there. That's Mystic shot from Ezreal starting to hit very, very hard. 3 points into Mystic, 2 points into the Arcane Shift. And if B2B May decides to go for this, he does have Flash available. And Soraka has just popped a heal. So there's a 20-second cooldown on that Astral Blessing. I'm making 17 seconds. We're going to see whether or not B2B May actually wants to commit to this fight. Not having any sustain, he's not going to be able to heal himself back up. Not going to be able to, replenish any of the damage that he's taken. And that makes quite a big difference. Just quickly going to pull my Skype up to keep a close eye on the admins. And, yep, just getting some confirmation, guys. A lot of the top ranked teams do have buys in the first round. So that does mean that, unfortunately, we couldn't see the teams we wanted just yet. But we will be following them later. And right now, this is the game that's on the play. CPlay on the left-hand side. They are, of course, facing Team Derpers on the right-hand side. Chat seems to think Derpers have this one in the bag, but at 3-1 down in 8 minutes, we're going to have to see whether that turns out to be the case. Koi is having his way with Lollipop at the moment. He's putting a lot of damage onto him, and Warwick is constantly on the back foot. He's constantly low on health. And now we got some pressure coming in. D-Man is going to be moving forward. There goes the roundhouse kick Forces Lollipop back, knocks Demand up for a brief second. Ignite was used, and I think that was a little bit premature because there was no bear stun, and there was no damage that had been applied to Koi, so not necessarily convinced about that Ignite usage. But nevertheless, Koi does manage to walk away with his life. He's also burned his ultimate, so that is on a 87-second cooldown. He's not going to be able to use that Dragon's Rage kick for the next minute and a half. Warwick, on the other hand, Infinite Duress is up and it is available. And I wonder why he hadn't used it. That's the real question there. Had he been able to lock Lee Sin down, now we got lots of pressure on that top lane. I'm just keeping an eye. These faces bumping heads one another over and over and over. Hawked on RV, playing Orianna. He's gone for the Catalyst, the Protector first. And we'll see if he's going to upgrade that, most likely into the Rod of Ages. Well, it's going to be a Rod of Ages. Who am I kidding? But I'm really hoping we're going to see that Athene's Unholy Grail. The item has, it was just released at midnight or, during the course of the last day or so. And I really want to see if some of these champions, guys like Swain, Galio, and Nivea, for example, could really make use of those... use of the mana regen. So once again, guys, welcome, hello, and greetings. This is the Dreamhack Qualifiers. This is qualifier number 3 on EU West. Qualifier number 4 on Nordic and East is being played simultaneously. And how lucky is that, hey? The recall just going through at the very last second. But that does mean that Derpers are now going to be taking Dragon. A 10-minute Dragon is fairly early. Ezreal does have his ultimate up, and whether he's going to try that True Shot Barrage. True Shot Barrage does come out and hits Talal in the face. But a free, unchallenged Dragon at the 10-minute mark. That's going to give Derpers the gold lead. So really well played. Great positioning. Great mind, great map awareness. And the second that Udi had recalled, they push for Dragon. So good decision making from Derpers. Gives them the small gold advantage. And what I really like to see is their ward coverage. Keep a close eye on that minimap, guys. It looks like a Christmas tree. There's the vision for Derpers. They've seen Ari coming up. Ari, Johnny and Talal, poking heads for a little bit. But look at their ward coverage. Complete Dragon control. They know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what CPlay are even thinking about doing. On the flip side, we've got some mid-river wards, as well as now in the top lane. You can see Udia coming up. Koi may not have noticed this, though. So D-Man's going to be pushing forward. There goes the bear stun. Lollipop was kicked away with the Dragon's Rage, so without Warwick being able to jump up there, are we going to see a flash Infinite Duress? The Iron Will does go up. There's the Infinite Duress coming down, but I don't know if they've got enough damage. Koi is now putting as much down as he can. The counter-attack stuns D-Man under the tower. Now Talal's the one putting the hurting down onto Demand. Koi's going to be moving forward. If he could have landed the ability with the Q. Now, once again, Johnny joins the party late. This has gone into a 3v3. Spirit Rush, the last tick of Spirit Rush moves forward. Still not enough to kill anybody. No deaths yet. All of the damage going down. Hawkdon has joined the party once more. Wish has been used by Soraka. The first kill finally is actually from the mid champions. Not the tops, not the jungles. But a solo mid versus mid. And CPlay and Derpers, they've come to play. CPlay and Derpers, they're putting it all on the table. Great map awareness, great control from both teams. As Talal had joined the fight to counter the gank from Lollipop, that back and forth went on. Lee Sin was forced to run away. Warwick was forced to leave the fight. While that was going on, Ari decides to show her face, and she's just like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Check what's happening." Of course, the exact second Ari, puts all of her damage down, Orianna joins the party. So with that kill, Orianna is now able to finish her Rod of Ages. She also has a 25 CS lead over Ari in the mid, which is huge at the 12-minute mark. 2-0-0, and the creep score, it makes a very big difference. And that Rod of Ages is just going to make Orianna more and more powerful, give the health, the sustain in the lane, all that additional ability power, all additional mana. And so far, I don't want to use the word unconventional, but the slightly less common champion is winning against a slightly more conventional one. So Derpers have pulled it back. They have the gold advantage compliments of the Dragon. A very good charm from Johnny coming out. Does pull Hawkdon forward. And interestingly, Johnny is leveling up his charm as opposed to the Spirit Fire. Foxfire, sorry. Spirit Rush and Foxfire. And I find that quite interesting. In the bottom lane, we do have pressure coming out. BTB May lands a Mystic shot to the face, but look at the damage from Volley. Volley plus that BF sword and 4 points into it really hits very, very hard. Prathana with that brand new sexy Ash skin is moving forward. The Ash arrow lands onto May. Leap Strike is going to be enough to finish him off. BTB May dies, and that evens the scores up 3-3. A point-blank Crystal Arrow prevented Ezreal from actually killing Ash there in that fight. And the reworked Ash skin is very, very, very sexy. I'm going to go there and watch it in just a few seconds. I'm going to see whether or not Koi and Lollipop are actually fighting. But keep a close eye on this Ash skin. Ignite has been used as well. That Ignite comes out from Janna, I believe. Now they're going to be moving. If Demand can get the bear stun into the Phoenix stance, that might be enough. Or Tiger stance, rather. There's some damage going out. The AoE from Phoenix, 1 or 2 more hits may be enough. Exhaust has been burned, so Demand's not going to be able to push onto Soraka. But look at that. True Shot Barrage even picking up Soraka. So had a bear stun been able to land, or, the exhaust not being there, they may have been able to combo another kill. And while all that's going on, now the more pressure comes down, followed up by the Hadouken. Koi moves all the way forward. Is Ignite going to be enough? No, it's not. Lollipop, once again, gets away from the fur on his chinny chin. And well played. For everybody that's asking, this is 100% live, guys. The game is live. CPlay versus Derpers. This is the last chance to qualify for the qualifiers for Dreamhack. Teams have to place in the final of today's cup to be eligible to take part on Sunday. And if they compete and make it in the top 4 on Sunday, then they will be able to play at Dreamhack. I'm going to keep an eye on Prathana here. This is the new Ash rework. Let's actually follow her and zoom in. What I really like is the animation on the quiver. Take a look at that, guys. You can actually see she pulls the arrow out of the quiver with each move. Zoom out to see a little bit better. There we go. Out the quiver. Great work from Riot Games. This is, of course, the Amethyst Ash skin as well. So it's got that slight purple hue to all of the abilities. And I really like it. What I will do after this game is I'll put a little message up at the top saying that this game is live. Everybody can stop asking. Top lane, Koi, 108 CS to the 84 of Lollipop. Mid lane, 142 to the 112. Bottom lane is bang on even, 118 to 112. And in the jungle, 72 to 68. So, fairly even in the jungle and bot lanes, but mid and top, Derpers have a strong advantage. There was a lot of pings going down a few seconds ago. And if you guys were looking on the minimap, you would have noticed an Ash arrow flying all the way up. I'm not sure if that was intended for middle or top. But, Ash, he was trying it, a bit of a brave one. Dragon has now respawned. This is the 16-minute mark, and we may see an engage. You can see Warwick coming down on the top lane. Keep an eye on that minimap. So we have all 5 Derpers currently sitting in the middle lane. The True Shot Barrage goes out, deals quite a lot of damage. Smite not in range. The first stun does go down with the command shockwave. Immediately blows up Janna. A very nice safeguard moves Lee Sin all the way forward. A great charm comes out from Ari. Koi manages to land his Hadouken, flies through the wall. That flying ball of energy puts a bit of damage down into Johnny, so that scares her away. So Dragon and a kill, and there, once again, the safeguard. Koi pops out the ward, uses his W safeguard ability, dives to the ward, and tries to get in range for his Tempest, which is his slow ability. And if he can land that slow and that cripple, should be enough to put, or at least slow the enemies down. And Derpers pulling ahead. I mean, it was a little bit of a disappointing start. Prathana and Jairi got caught out at the raids. They gave up a double kill very early on. But they've pulled it back. I mean, they've evened it up on kills now. They've taken 2 consecutive dragons without reply. And they managed to pick up a kill there as well. And I think the kill went to Ari, if I recall correctly. She's on 3-0-0, so really nicely done thus far. Really nicely played by Derpers. And chat, you guys may be correct. Maybe the Derpers are going to be pulling away with this. Has anybody changed their thoughts and feelings just yet? With regards to the last qualifier, Fnatic managed to knock out SK Gaming during the round of 16 last time. And then Fnatic then got knocked out by Absolute Legends in what was a very one-sided affair. Absolute Legends picked up an early advantage and they just kept it all game long. So in terms of gold, there's your gold graph on the bottom side. You can see already not a huge advantage at the moment, but every little bit helps. Every little bit is pushing them further and further ahead. And of course, if the Derpers can hold their lead and they can keep farming the way that they're farming, they're going to be able to transition into the mid-game very, very nicely. The one thing that's very interesting to note out, there's been very little damage to the towers. I mean, bottom lane, you know, once again, the fight on the top lane, look at the pressure. Koi is just manhandling Lollipop continually in his face. And after 20 minutes of pressure, the tower's just below half health, but we do have D-Man coming up. Demand's now moved forward. There goes the cripple. A stun has gone down. Ignite has been used. Koi is sticking to this one. Dragon's Rage has been kicked. He moves forward. One more auto attack is going to pick up the kill. Stun under the tower. Safeguards away. Koi may be able to get away with this one. And he does. The wish from Soraka was enough to keep him in the fight, healing up 200 hit points from all the way down from that bottom lane. And that alone kept him alive. The stun goes down onto Failfax. Failfax now pop that Monsoon. The counterattack doesn't land. True Shot Barrage goes out. The True Shot Barrage and the Mystic Shot. Almost enough to kill Prathana there, actually. But a very, very good Monsoon from Failfax manages to force everybody backwards. And with all the action and all the pressure in the lanes that we've been seeing, neither team has actually used a... or has purchased a Oracle's Elixir yet. So the wards are still available. The wards are still on the map. Neither team running around trying to clear those out. Keeping a very close eye on the teams and people that are messaging me. And we're going to be joined a little bit later on by Optimus. Tom Optimus, he is a US caster, part of GG Chronicle. But he just needs to get home from work. So until then, I hope you guys don't mind chilling and having some fun with me. If you don't know, my name is Quickshot. And yeah, we're here for the Dreamhack Qualifiers. We will be joining and watching probably SK and Fnatic, maybe even MYM and Na'Vi a little bit later. The first tower of the game is going to go down. Koi with his Phage and Hex Drinker. Going to be able to turn that, take the tower out. And you notice Lollipop immediately fell backwards. Lollipop did not want to stay underneath that turret once it went down, out of fear that Koi was just going to be able to keep putting pressure on him and potentially land a kill. The moment, Derpers significantly ahead. Look at the farm in that middle lane. 210 CS on Orianna against 150 on Ari. So not only does Hawkdawn significantly out-farm, I mean, that's averaging 10 creeps per minute. He's also picked up 3 kills and, of course, the 2 dragons now. Koi did manage to catch Lollipop. He's landed his Q. Was thinking about diving. Does actually dive in right at the end there. So we're going to move down. Try to keep an eye on this fight. Tempest goes out. Johnny also uses Spirit Rush. That was a little bit of a waste. Anticipating the aggression from Koi. Anticipating Koi to move into range of tower. But in the end, it didn't actually happen. So with that first kill that BTB May did pick up, he has opted to go for a DPS route. Double Doran's Blade and the Bloodthirster. He's picked up a Ruby Crystal as well, so we can assume that's going to go into a Phage. And that makes me think he's going to be moving towards a Trinity Force next. That's my assumption. Once again, pressure on the top lane. Lee Sin dropped to 1,500 hit points out of his 2,200. And he's managed to drop Warwick down to 1,000 out of the 1,900. And once again, we see Demand moving up in the top lane. Now he's going to be able to get up into Koi. There comes the speed buff and movement speed. The bear stun stance does go down. Infinite Duress has been used there. Ignite is ticking away. Now look at the damage. Red buff is being used. The slow is out. Finally comes where Shirelia's Reverie now been popped. Koi, if he can get a good safeguard, it may be enough. This next stun was enough to kill him, though. 7 seconds passes. The follow-up bear stun stance was all that was required. But now, Derpers setting up for the 3rd dragon of the game. What's the time duration between the bear stance? 6 seconds, sorry. So, 6 seconds after applying the very, very first stun. Able to follow it up with a secondary one, and that was enough to pick up that kill onto Lee. So at least that's going to slow him down just a little bit, but another dragon goes the way of Derpers. The Ash Arrow went out as well, so that one is whiffed. It didn't manage to catch anybody. Charm and an Orb of Deception through the wall from Johnny. Put some damage onto Talal, but not enough to follow up with anything. 3,000 gold advantage just from dragons alone, just from map control. And what you can say is fairly uncontested. I mean, Derpers have had the timing. Derpers have grouped up every single time, or, you know, for each dragon that's spawned. And they're playing this very, very effectively. Team play and the coordination is great thus far. And we finally transition now into this mid-game. So all of the teams are now going to, or both teams, they're going to start grouping grouping up, sticking together, holding one another's hands. They're not going to be staying alone or being, moving around the map alone without some wards. And whichever team can start to capitalize on this next 5 to 10 minutes of the game is really who's going to be able to win this one. If CPlay are able to single a target out and blow that target up, they can win team fights. If they can take out Orianna or Ashe early, really, they've got to blow them up early on in a team fight, they can actually win. Jax and Lee are going to be putting out a lot of damage, but if Ari and Ezreal can be kept alive and allowed to keep dealing DPS, they can win. Warwick and Udyr are both very, very tanky upfront champions, and they're going to be able to survive a lot of the DPS that's going out from Lee Sin and Jax, assuming Ashe isn't sitting over their shoulders. So CPlay, now the pressure is on. How are they going to handle it? Well, that's going to remain to be seen. 2 towers to 1. 1 volley and a crit drops May's health to 2/3. And once again, there you go. Volley and crit again. Drops it down to half. And look at the combination from Pathana. Really, really smart. He right-clicks onto Ezreal. Right-clicks onto BTB May. As the auto attack is flying, he then casts that volley spell. And it just increases the amount of DPS that you're putting out by such a significant amount. Always remember to keep that up and keep those two pushing. And we're keeping an eye. Now we're going to see on this bottom lane, the Ashe arrow has gone out. Failfac, one more attack should be enough. The last arrow finally there was enough to pick up the kill. Now they've turned their attention to Prathana. Counter kill goes down. Ezreal and Janna has now been down. Demands the third one to fall after Derpers turn what was a 2v3 into a 4v3. Managed to pick up 3 kills, and right now Derpers are in the driving seat. Not only did they pull all of CPlay down to this bottom lane, Lee Sin is sitting in the top lane and pretty much just soloing the tower. He's completely ignoring Lollipop. He's completely ignoring the damage that's coming out from Warwick and entirely focusing down the tower. Smart play from Derpers. It's towers and Nexus kills that win games, not champion kills. And right now, Derpers are the ones with the tower advantage. 4-0-1 on Hawked on RV. At the 26-minute mark, 267 CS. Not necessarily as high as the creep score that we've seen from Alexis yesterday, but nevertheless a really, really good score thus far. And you combine that with 3 dragons and a 4-0-1 kill score. Hawked on is terrifying. Currently sitting on 1,400 gold. He has an amplifying tome, and I'm truly, truly hoping that he's going to go for that Athene's Holy Grail. Please, please, please buy it. I'm hoping this item is going to change the metagame a little bit, or at least introduce some champions that you don't necessarily see as often. You know, a champion like Swain, for example, maybe even pulling up a few more Zillions who are very, very mana intensive, especially in the early game. You could even see Anivia's playing or being played by several more champions, because Anivia needs that blue buff to be truly effective. The mana regen from Unholy's Grail is very, very powerful, and it may actually be able to, I don't want to say replace, but it may even be enough to substitute a blue buff. So unfortunately, Hawked on is going to go for the standard build thus far. He's going to put that into a blasting wand, just get that magic penetration. How much magic pen is he currently sitting on? 29 and 10%, so he's gone for a mostly magic pen rune page, and then obviously that coupled with the sorcerer's shoes. So once he gets the blasting wand, the void staff completed, that's going to increase his damage even further. Maybe later on, maybe one of the teams later on will make my day and keep me happy. For everybody that's joined us, greetings, welcome, hello. This is live. Dreamhack Qualifiers. CPlay in the blue trunks on the left-hand side. They are facing off against Team Derpers on the red trunks in the right-hand side. Whoever places in the final of today, you have to be in the top 2. You then qualify for Sunday's games. And it's only on Sunday's games that the teams actually make it into the Dreamhack tournament. I'm going to confirm the 4 teams that have qualified already. Sorry, while I'm typing, I can't type and talk at the same time. So, I'm just asked one of the admins just to confirm the 4 teams. I know that CLG are in there. They've already qualified. I know that Moscow 5 have, as well as Absolute Legends. There was one more team from the Nordic and East side, and I can't remember. And look at the damage going out into Johnny. Leap Strike, counter-attack, Empower, followed up by the Ash Arrow, and 1 or 2 auto attacks is all that's required. So now they've turned their attention to Baron, so I'm going to keep my eyes down on this bottom half. Watch the mini-map. Look what CPlay do. They know that this is happening. They have the ward, the vision. Baron is now down to 300 hit points, and they don't even contest. They don't even contend that one right now. Arrow lands from Ash. Volley almost makes it. Had that slow landed, it may have been enough. And this looks like a disconnect. Lollipop appears to have disconnected from the game. And that's very, very sad when something like that happens. But it is unfortunate. It is the nature of the games, unfortunately. Playing over the internet. Lollipop, 0-1. He's been manhandled in the top lane by Koi. Koi playing Lee Sin. He's out-farmed him, he's out-pressured him, and he's managed to get away from a lot of ganks as well. And really, really unlucky. And it's either a disconnect or a rage quit. The 4 teams that have qualified, there we go. It was Moscow 5, Absolute Legends, Counter Logic Gaming Team Optimus. So it used to be CLG EU. And finally, XHCL. So those are your 4 that have already qualified. We're going to find 4 more today. And somebody throw up that Reddit post for me. Somebody put the link into chat for the Reddit thread for today's tournament. We're going to be here all day long. My name is Quickshot. I'm going to be joined by Optimus later today. Dude's name's Tom. He's a shoutcaster in the US scene for GG Chronicle. And he'll be joining me as my color commentator. The dude with the high elo and, you know, share a little bit more game insight as a higher ranked player. For the time being, though, let's just have some fun with this. Sitting on directed camera. And, of course, patch day, guys. Patch day, patch day, patch day. So we are seeing the brand new Summoner's Rift. Really happy with how it turned out. Some of the screenshots that were coming up from very early on made the ground, that red and the blue hue that they've placed on the ground, it made it look very red and very blue. And I was quite worried about that because it looked terrible. It looked really terrible. Right now, they've dulled it down. You can still see there's a slight red hint on the ground, just to show you which team, which side you're looking at. But it's not in your face. Textures are very, very good, and of course the new Ash skin is immense as well. Is the Swain skin available? I'm not 100% certain. I will check it out as soon as we get into. Once we get back into the lobby, we can open up the store and see what's happening. But at the moment, 11,000 gold difference, 5 towers to 1. Derpers, they're in the driving seat. And I don't want to say they're trolling, that's not trolling, but they're baiting CPlay. They can pick a fight anytime they want. Is the counter-attack available from Talal? Is he going to commit? That's the question. Just somebody just waiting for that opportunity, waiting for that small gap to see who can they fight, who can they kill, And CPlay, they're so far behind. They don't have the dragons. They don't have the gold to be able to compete. And it just looks like Derpers, they're biding their time. They don't want to overcommit to a fight and give something away. But they are trying to, force an engagement. Now the tower's gone down to less than a third life. Just going to keep focusing it down. A lot of damage has gone onto Prathana. There goes a very nice charm from Johnny. Immediately blowing Ash up. Now they're going to have to commit to this. Shockwave manages to catch 4 from CPlay. That pulls them all backwards. All of a sudden, Derp is taking a lot of damage from that True Shot barrage. The chase is now on. CPlay are moving forward. The bear stance stun does land onto Hawked on RV, but the shield is protecting so many hit points. Finally goes down, so that's a 2-for-1 exchange. CPlay still technically in the better position. Talal, though, he manages to lock up 3 with that counterattack stun. Does eat a charm for his troubles, though. Is forced back after losing a lot of hit points. There's no wish available for Jerry. Finally, Koi goes down. 3-for-1. The Mystic Shot lands. It does not apply any slow, though. A flash comes out from Failfact. That applies the slow. But is it going to be enough? And the Howling Gale lands as well. They just don't have the damage to chase it up. So a 3-for-1 exchange. And that was what CPlay needed to do. That's what CPlay need to do to win these fights. Blow Ash or Orianna up. And once that champion's blown up, you can win a fight. So great play by CPlay. And in particular, Johnny. That charm, the Spirit Rush into point-blank charm, that was what turned it around. And now Talos moved forward. He's done the leap strike. He's landed the counter-attack stun. Eats a Johnny charm to the face. Wish comes out from Jerry. That's going to be able to save his life. But wow, Lollipop trying to recall there, and the River Ash Arrow lands onto Johnny. Going to be moving forward. The crit and volley picks up the kill. Map awareness and vision. There you go. Map awareness and vision. Great play by Ari. She literally saved Lollipop's life there on Warwick. Landed the charm the second it was needed. I mean, that was a split-second decision. If you've got that ability on Smartcast, or even if you're using the skill shot, indicator, that was a great skill shot from Johnny. But then, unfortunately, the Ash Arrow flying all the way down from mid smacks her in the back of the head, keeps her in place just long enough for Prathana to pick up yet another kill. So we do have a co-caster available. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this game up, and we're going to get the co-caster up on Skype as soon as the game is finished. And everybody that is chilling, everybody that is asking, this game is live, guys. We are not doing any reruns. This is the Dreamhack Qualifier number 2. CPlay versus Derpers. And it looks as though Derpers are in the driving seat. They still have a very good gold advantage. We do finally see a Oracle's Elixir on both supports. I haven't actually noticed just how long Soraka's been wearing that Oracles. But the team's got them fairly late. And in terms of your kill spread, look at the kills for the carries. Ash and Orianna with 8 out of the 11 kills. Soraka, 118. J-Ree playing a really great support. Involved out of 9 out of the 11. Has accidentally stolen 1, which is a little bit of a pain, but you can't complain too much. In terms of stacks, let's have a look over at Ezreal. Ezreal's farming up. His Bloodthirster is fully stacked. He also has the Trinity Force completed, so he is going to be hitting particularly hard. And you can see the team setting up for Baron buff. Now look at the ward coverage from Derpers. Derpers can see everything around this Baron buff. They can see the Ancient Golem. They can see Janna with Oracle's Elixir is now clearing these wards out, and he has the vision now from CPlay. Jerry's trying to bait this out. It's pretty obvious that it's a bait though, so CPlay don't take it. They don't commit, and they're just stalling. Derpers are waiting for Koi to get you. Now Koi has moved up. He has joined the party. And now we have a 5v5. The red buff is on BTB May. It is going to be wearing out in the next sort of 20 to 30 seconds. And every time one of those Mystic shots land, it is going to apply the slow. There's the Leap Strike, immediately followed up from the Arcane Shift. Sorry. So BTB May gets out of range of the counterattack. No abilities or ultimates used just yet. But Talal trying to make something happen, trying to lock BTB May up. And get rid of that scoreboard just when we watch this engagement. Orianna tossing out that sewn ball. She's the dress Orianna, or the sewn, I can't remember the name of the skin. Now we have CPlay. They've set up for this, or started the Baron, trying to bait it out. The first team to overstep, the first team to be a little bit out of position, or to be slightly caught out, that's going to be the determining factor here. And if CPlay can get the right carry, if CPlay can catch somebody, then they're going to be able to potentially win this fight. But the longer that they stall, the longer CPlay wait, the more time Prathana has to get her arrow back. After whiffing it and throwing it between CPlay a minute ago, obviously it was not effective, and it's still on cooldown. It is still on cooldown for another few seconds. It is almost available, but Baron is going down. Derpers are going to have to commit to this. 4,000 hit points on Baron. They force CPlay back for a little bit. Baron still hasn't regenerated. Now it's starting to generate. The Shockwave manages to catch 3. Now they've committed. The big fight has gone on. D-Man has already blown up instantly, and that's Udi. He's meant to be the tanky one. Now they've turned their attention to Johnny. The Asher lands onto Failfac. That blows him up. Now Koi's managed to land that Hadouken, flies all the way forward, catches an infinite duress, but the command protect comes out from Orianna. That saves her life. Wish in the background from Soraka is going to be enough then to save him as well. And the damage from command attack, as well as the auto attack from Prathana, that just melts Ezreal. And hooked on RV on Orianna, making the big plays. Infinite duress had landed on Lee Sin, and Koi on Lee Sin did not deserve to live. He had not deserved to get away with his life, because he'd been caught. He was in a 2v1, he had overcommitted. Hawkton comes up from behind, throws that little ball up there and says, there you go, love. Have a small shield, tank that damage up. The second that the infinite duress had ended, then Koi manages to use that safeguard, jumps to the back of the line, and really well played. Great play there. Now they move their attention onto Lollipop. There's the auto attack, the damage going down. Lollipop is tanking for quite a while. When you compare how quickly Ezreal went down, but of course, Lollipop does have a Frozen Heart completed, and most of that auto attack damage is coming out from Lee Sin, and Ash is, of course, physical. 816 is the kill score. Gold graph up to 62,000. Now Ash Arrow does land onto demand. Now they've jumped forward. Counter-attack locks him up for even further. Chiralia's Reverie has been popped as well as the Randian's Omen, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. D-Man, next one to drop for CPlay. Talol does have his counter-attack available, so he's probably was thinking about jumping in. Instead, Leap strikes backwards. Derpers pick up the inhibitor. And that's all they need. Now they're going to rotate around. Hawkshot goes out so they can see there's no champions in this bottom lane. And now they're going to be moving forward into this next tower. Ooh, directed camera being a little there. Very nice charm does land into J-Ree. But there's no follow-up damage. So even though the charm landed, they couldn't convert it into a kill. 817. Let's have a quick look at the gold graph so far. 15,000 gold on Hawkdon in comparison to 10,000 on Ari. 10,000 on Ari. That is a huge difference. Bottom lane, 11,000 on Ezreal to the 15,000 on Ash. Once again, that's an infinity edge difference. Top lane, Warwick 8,500 to 11,500. 3k difference. Equivalent of a frozen mallet, unless my math is way off. But I mean, that's one full completed item above in every lane at the moment. And it's Team Derpers' game to throw. Team Derpers, they're in the driving seat, they're in control of this game. And unless they make a very, very big mistake, they should be able to finish this one out. The numbers are growing. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. This is the second Dreamhack qualifier. We obviously had the first one, well, technically it's a third. We had the first and the second one on Tuesday. It was one for EU West and one for EU Nordic and East. And today, of course, we're going to have the same. One for EU West, one for EU Nordic and East. We're going to spend most of our time on the EU West server. We may jump up to a Na'Vi MYM game later if it does come to pass. Derpers at the moment in the driving seat. And remember, if CPlay lose this, that's it. They do not qualify for Dreamhack. They go out of the game. And, out of the tournament. And if they are removed from the tournament, that's it. They don't go to Dreamhack. This is a best of one game. You lose, you're out. 66,900 gold for Derpers. They're just sieging this top lane right now. Ash putting the damage down onto the top tower. Landing quite a few auto attacks. Not dealing quite as much damage as I would have thought, but nevertheless. Single creep wave lined up. Manages to take out 2/3 of the hit points of that tower. It's now down to below 1,000 hit points. And the next time this wave comes up, they're going to be able to push it down. While all of that's happening, this middle lane already has several super creeps lined up. So once somebody from CPlay falls back to deal with that, they're going to be able to push this top tower. They're going to be able to take the top tower. Now Ari's moved forward. She spirit rushes forward once. Immediately gets counter-attacked, stunned from Jax. And now she's fallen backwards. The Dragon's Rage kick does push a few guys backwards. So the first one to fall is, in fact, Warwick after all that damage. Wish comes out now from Soraka. So that's going to be healing the Team Derpers quite a bit. And look at the damage going out. BTB May onto Hawkdon. Does get exhausted for his troubles. Now Prathana jumping forward with that red buff on, as well as the flash puts a lot of damage down. A great charm once again from Johnny. Locks Koi up, but it's still not enough to save him. The summoner heal gives him enough hit points to get through that ignite. He even tanks another tower hit and survives there as well. Koi on Lee Sin has managed to get out of so many kills, so many potential deaths, just from that safeguard ability. And that's going to be the game. Derpers pick up game number 1 for today's Dreamhack qualifier. Congratulations to Derpers. Next game. And we're going to have a quick look at the scoreboard. So let's wait for this to pop up. Congratulations to everybody and to all 4,000 guys that have tuned in. Greetings, welcome, hello. My name is Quickshot if you haven't seen me or heard me before. Hello. We'll pull up the camera in a second. Have a look at that 718 Hawkdon RV with Orianna. So strong. So powerful. And of course, we do have Prathana as well, 838, and then Talal and Jax, 318. J-Ree has to get a special mention as well, 116 on that support. Really well played. Great timing on all of those ultimates on that Wish, etc. I love looking at the damage dealt graph, so check that out. Let the graph tell the story for you. Super, super high numbers, super, super huge. So for everybody that's here, I know I've said it a whole bunch of times, this is the Dreamhack qualifier. As is customary with all of my streams, as I'm waiting for games to get confirmed, we're going to be jumping into round number 2 very, very shortly. I'm going to put up some techno trance in the background, and as soon as I have a game confirmed for you guys, I, of course, will jump straight back. So keep your ears open and keep an eye on the stream. We will be back shortly.